How many little squares are there in each shape of the sequence of stacked square? So stacked square is nothing but this. This is a stacked squares. Which number sequence does this give? Can you explain why? So if you guys remember, let me do a quick recap. So we have first stacked square being this, next being this, third being that, fourth will be something extension of this itself, fifth will be extension of this, so on and so forth, right? So the question is, how many little squares are there? So we have to give a generalized version. I'm giving you guys a pause. You have to think over how can we explain this? How can we put this across in a general manner? Okay, first step, we'll understand few words. This is a row. This is a column. There are 3 rows, 1, 2, and 3. There are 3 columns, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is a column, this is a column, this is a column. While this is a row, this is a row, and this is a row. That has to be very clear. So how many columns and how many rows are there? 3 and 3. Now, number of squares will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's always the product of number of rows and number of columns. So there are 9 little square. Next, what else? We have to talk in general. How many are there in each scenario? So how can we put it across? Remember, I'll draw 2 by 2. There are 1, 2, 1, 2. 2 rows and 2 columns. Think. I hope you guys did. I'll give you guys a clue. So for a given stacked square, the number of little square is given by. We need to generalize it and write it in the form of a formula. So let me do that. For a given stacked square, the number of little square is given by, yeah, what does it depend on? How did I get 9? I multiplied what? Number of squares along a row and number of squares along a column. We just have to write that, that's it. Number of, to be a bit more specific, we are talking about little squares along a row into number of little square along a column. That's it. Now, which number sequence does it give? So the sequence that we are looking at is 1, because first one will have 1 into 1. Second one will be 2 rows and 2 columns, so 2 into 2. So we can write this as 1 into 1, so that is a continuation. Next one will be 3 into 3. Next one will be 4 into 4. I'll change the color over here. So on and so forth. So basically, it's 1, 4, 9, 16, so on and so forth. Now, which number sequence that we answered? Next, part 3 is, can you give or can you explain why? Why does this happen? Why does this happen? That it is a square number basically. So this implies square number sequence. We get a square number sequence. So when do we get square number sequence? When we multiply the same number basically. 3 into 3, 10 into 10, 1000 into 1000, 121 into 121, 144 into 144, whatever it is. So why does this happen is the question now. Why does this happen? Why does it always end up with 2 into 2, 3 into 3? It has to do with this particular formula. So please pause and think about it. Because link this to number of little squares along a row, it's always equal to number of little squares along a product. Sorry, not product, along a column. This reason is nothing but number of little squares along a row is always equal to number of little squares along a column. So if this being the case, the product always results in thus number of little squares will result in a square number. Okay guys, there's one more explanation I have given over here. It's the same thing, but if you guys want to write it this way, that's also okay. This is like a summary of whatever I written. This is part by part. Whatever I handwritten, that is part by part. Whatever I typed in over here, that is like a summary. Okay, you can write anything, that's left to you guys. So main thing that you need to understand is the term rows and columns over here. That's an extra bit of information that we have. So when we're talking about number of little square along a row, 1, 2, 3, left to right. Along a column, top to bottom. That's one thing that you have to keep in mind. And everything else is quite simple.